Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Antares Mo. Flight boss, the Archangel URIEL. And I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, I'm going to tell y'all how to know when higher forces is fucking with you. Yeah, how to know when higher forces, because, you know, a lot of people talk about metaphysics and talk about spirits and things of that nature, but see, I come from the line of we need to know how these things is actually coming to us, because we can listen on what these things is all day, but how are they affecting us in our lives? And that's what my video is about. Y'all even know when I talk about astrology, I'm not just breaking down what planets is aligning and what that mean. I'm breaking it down how it's affecting us in our lives. So for the most part, that's how all this gonna go. So I'm gonna let you know how to pinpoint when you know you're being attacked by higher forces. Now I must say this as a disclaimer. This is only really for people who probably watch my channels or watch other people's channel that kind of resonate with the same frequency. Because if you really ain't into this, or you don't really understand a lot of this in the first place, then you fall into like the 99% of the world. Really, like 1% of the world is really like 100,000 or so, more than that. But you get what I'm trying to say. It's still a lot of people, but it's small to the majority. It's only a minority to the majority. So I know my numbers may be off, but you know, that ain't what this about. Now, when higher forces is fucking with you, now you have to be a person that's already on a level of consciousness, like I explained. Because why I say that? Because 99% of the world, 9 times out of 10, they manifest circumstances in their own life. For an example, even the 1% out of the 99% still have trouble every day. Every day is a fight. We still get affected by outside influences and things of that nature and manifest our own circumstances. So look at it like this. 99% of the world get affected and manifest, so they wake up in certain ways, be in certain moods, ask questions like, why is this happening to me? When the majority of the time, they're manifesting this in their own life because of the things that they're into, their responsibilities, things that they're obligated to do, their job, their responsibilities and things of that nature. So just being in these kind of vibrations, what you're eating and how you go about eating and cooking and things of that nature, and the family and the friends you're around, the circumstance, all this play a part in your vibrations on a day-to-day basis. So your spirit is being controlled and being pointed in many different directions throughout the day. So a lot of times you may wake up and think, okay, you may think that just things is going on in your life and you just got to handle it, but really you the one that's manifesting these things in your life in the first place. Now when we get to like the 1% and the people that's like consciously aware, at this point, even that, it doesn't matter if we got obligations, responsibilities, or job, we know how to separate ourselves. We know how to go in within ourselves and understand that certain things is just an illusion. And the better we know how to handle the yin realm, the yang realm will start to slowly but surely manifest itself to be better for us. So for the most part, once you reach a state of conscious awareness, you know that you're at a state that you're not letting a lot of outside influences affect you as much as the regular person who don't know themselves. You see what I'm saying? So the little bit of effect that you get is not as much as a regular person. So you know how to shift gears. You know how to get back within yourself and stuff, and go to your things that you regularly do. So at this point, when you're meditating or you to yourself and things of that nature, you got to understand that you are already controlling your emotions and feelings. So it's little to nothing that really the people that's outside of you can do, a person, place, or thing. The little effect that it can do, you already see that illusion, and you know how to not make that affect you as much as a regular person who don't know themselves, because you're into shit like this. So that means that you're consciously aware. So at this point, you're being seen by higher influences now, believe it or not. Once you step into this area of life, and it's like all this ring and this spiral that everybody is speaking of, this is because this is how the mind see things. This is not literally what's going on in reality, but this is how the mind see things. So it's expansion and contraction, but at this point you have expanded your conscious awareness enough to a wider realm of reality. So your expansion contraction is at a larger pace now, so you're able to do more and perceive more. So you're picked up by higher references now. So now they can't come to you, they can't affect you in the way how they used to when they had to, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not lost into the things that they placed onto the world to get lost in. They see you're not lost in those specific things, so now they have to come a little bit more direct, a little bit more personal. So at this point, when you know yourself, right, you know that a person, place, or thing literally can't really affect you. So when you consciously aware and you see the illusion, when something do affect you, take heed to that. Look at that, because that's something you getting attacked by. Because you know yourself. If you part of the 1%, if you part of my soul group, you know yourself. So when you just sit back, relaxing, you just get this thought from this specific person, or you just get this feeling, or you just get this idea that this specific person think about you in this type of way or something like that. Take heed to that. Or you just get a certain feeling. You getting attacked, and you getting attacked in a higher way now, because this is the only way they can affect you now. And a lot of times they slick. These spirits are slick. They'd affect you in a way that you would experience something would take place that'll make you not give a fuck about this kind of shit at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like something will happen, like your phone will start freezing or something like that. And since it know how much energy you put into your phone, by your phone freezing, you start putting energy to being upset on your phone and wanting to restart your phone and shit like that. And or it play like your phone dying real fast and stuff like that. So in these moments, then you don't give a fuck about no spirit or getting attacked or shit like that. Yo, you into reality at that moment, and that's the moment. You see, they get slick. You see what I'm saying? They get slick. They fuck around and put you in a car accident like that. And for the most part, they do a lot of other shit too. Like they may come through a person who keep calling you, or a person who come around, or a person that every time they say a certain thing, the spirit know that this throws you off from this person. So the spirit will do something that entice that person's spirit to come around you in some way, shape, or form. Then when that person come around you, this is a way that the spirit can act and create that experience in order to throw you off. So now you ain't thinking about that shit again. It got you again. See, it has to find higher ways to get you now. You see what I'm saying? So when you are consciously aware and you're not like, you know yourself a little bit, you start to get seen by higher beings now. And once you step into this ring, right, you have to start understanding things the same way you understand how to deal with people, places, and things in this reality. You have to start understanding that in that reality. Because a lot of times when you do like reach an area or a location where a fourth dimension or fifth dimensional spirit may be at, sometimes they're not necessarily bad. It's just whatever they're doing in their realm of reality may be bad, may be bad for you, because you're still within in a lower realm of reality. You see what I'm saying? Same way I was explaining in my last video, how like you are an ancestor also. You done died and transformed into a higher life also. So the lesser forms than you that you are connected to, how they play out, how they might pray or may want you to do something, it'll play out in your life as you feel like it's things that you got to do, and if you don't do it, you feel uncomfortable. And then once you do it, you feel comfortable again. You're like, all right, I finally got that done. Like those little things that nag you, like you just know you got to do, and you may procrastinate, and you don't fully feel comfortable with yourself until you actually get that done. Believe it or not, hey, it's on you. But I'm telling you, believe it or not, the same way you pray to your ancestors or things of that nature, the way how I just explained it, how those feelings you feel, that's how it is when you are ancestor to lower beings. And when they do the same thing what you're doing, whoever you're praying to is they're feeling and they're in the world the same way how you hearing and you in the world. So like, for an example, see, it's just a larger life form. So whatever you feel like you have to do could be anything. It could be like a situation. It could be something at your job. It could be something like a circumstance or a situation that keep reoccurring that you have to keep up as a routine. You know what I'm saying? And start to play into the routine field. And start to play into the circle. You see, a pattern. You know what I'm saying? And this is how they keep you down also, so you can't extend. Because anytime, so you can't ascend to a certain degree. So whoever you praying to, you're not letting ascend. But at the same time, it's like when you reach a certain level of existence, you're not looking at it in that way. Same way how I just explained to you how you were ancestor and to lower beings, you was never looking at it like that way, right? See what I'm saying? So just think about what you're doing right now in life. You're trying to gain stability, gain some type of power or control over something in your life. And the more power you gain, anybody who gain popularity and things of that nature feel happy. I mean, you got a few people who don't care about that, but anytime somebody gets some source of attention, so that's what feel good in this realm of reality, right? Well, in a lower realm of reality, they would look at this as a demigod or a lord. So the same way you look at lords or planets or something like that, or oversouls, and how they got a certain amount of authority and you look at them as evil or whatever like that, this is how you have to look at yourself. You see what I'm saying? And since you like power, that means if you like some form of power or popularity or some type of status, that means you like to be in some type of rotation, some type of routine. So the way rotation and routine play out down here, you see what I'm saying? And people keep things organized. Same way, like, what is a job? Everybody getting routine, pattern, and organized every day, right? That's a rotation. Now, when we look at the planets, they're doing that on a larger level. So they're in a higher dimension. So you only perceive it as like literal rotation. But in their world, it's literally how it is in our world. The things we're responsible for, the things we're relative to, the things we have to come back to. You have relatives. You're in rotation. You're in some form of pattern, some form of structure. You know what I'm saying? You think that's doing that literally. Really, down here, we're doing that literally in the weakest form. Up there is doing that in a greater form. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for some reason, mankind keep making themselves like they more than what they really are. But for the most part, when you know you're getting attacked by higher spirits, I mean, yeah, by higher sources, by higher forces, and getting fucked with because they come to you like that now. Because you already in a circumstance, a situation where you can't even look at a person and blame a person for putting you in a situation. You can only attack their spirit. You like, okay, yeah, it's an energy signature. This person is that same energy, so I can't let this affect me. So it don't matter what circumstance, situation, or person you're dealing with. You're not as affected as much. So, you know, spirits got to come. They got to come in. Higher forces, they got to come in other ways. And see, the concept of they're fucking with you will throw you off because it'll put you in a type of religious mode. So you need to understand, in their mind, it's not that they're fucking with you, it's that they're trying to experience. See, anytime you lessen your experience, you become a non-vessel for them to take. See, this is what you're here to do in so many ways, shape, or form. And this goes into the Ryu and Ketu and all that. You know what I'm saying? You here to shed the experiences that you don't want to experience anymore, and you here and that's the contraction. That's the positive. And then you here to expand on the experiences that the new experiences, right? So you can gain that and be able to take a new vessel. So you can do carnation, not reincarnation. You see what I'm saying? And take a new vessel that so you can gain new experiences again. So that's what you actually here to do. So, but people don't really know that's their natural spirit path. People that found pleasures in their routines. People that found comfortability in their routines. Society then placed a lot of illusions up under lights that put you up under patterns and routines. So you wouldn't even know what would life be like to not work for money. Some people wouldn't even know what life will be like in the next city if they had to move into the next city. You know what I'm saying? So you see how deep that shit is? So it's like society then put people up under a structure also. So this is like a routine pattern and an organism or organ that's in rotation right now, that's in process, and it's a motherfucking million, trillion, kabillion dollar one. You know what I'm saying? And anyone who any dumbass spirit that come here that try to tear down that system will get eradicated. And we see anytime a spirit try to come change the shit, that spirit get eradicated and it has to go back to where the fuck it came from and never come back here again. You know what I'm saying? That's slowly what's gonna happen to me. But in this fucking time, in this vessel right now that I'm doing, I'm going to express what the fuck I'm going to express. So for the most part, it's deep. And when you know you're getting attacked by higher forces, they come in concepts now. And with these concepts is bodies, and these bodies is so big that they can play out through multiple people within your dimension that you in. You see what I'm saying? Since you in the third dimension, that vessel is so big that the amount of beings that swallowed up in that star being will be a multitude of people in your life, and they may all play out these attributes, these energy signatures. So now you gotta weave your way in. You gotta weave and dodge and weave on a higher level now. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna play into you like letting a lot of shit slide. You know what I'm saying? You having to cut people off. You know what I'm saying? You having to understand that other people may not understand. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna play out in so many different ways, and that's how this motherfucking spirit. But in that meantime, you start attracting the people, places, and things that you do need in your life, and these things start to become shields, and they become shields for the things that don't need to come back in, and the things that be knocking on the door that want to come back in and fuck you up. It'd be hard for them to do that. But see, when you hear lessening your experiences from shit that you already previously experienced from the South Node, you know, spirits, they come here and be like, they lost. These motherfuckers didn't already have bodies, and some of these motherfuckers then had so many bodies, they don't want to go back where they was at. They want to stay here because they don't know nothing else. Like, some spirits have been in so many vessels that have been worshiping the sun for so many trillions of years. But not just this sun. You know what I'm saying? Been worshiping this sun, the color, the way this one is shaped. They've been worshiping these planets, Venus and Mars, and these is like oversouls. These are bigger spirits. So it's like they've been worshiping them for so long and shit like that, that it's almost like they don't even see nothing else. They don't even want to go nowhere else, travel nowhere. That's like you being homesick, or you being in a location so long you don't want to move nowhere else. New York, LA. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the ATL. You know what I'm saying? Chicago, Chi-Town, Chirac. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas don't want to, once y'all embedded, y'all don't want to move nowhere else. You see what I'm saying? So it's in a circumstance or a situation. It's the same thing with spirits. And certain spirits, spirits are your spirit, your conscious is your shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas, your smokeless flame. You see what I'm saying? Now these spirits, like I said, they've been here so long, they had no choice but to expand. So these some big ass spirits, but they too big that they can't really take a vessel. They can't really take one of these vessels no more, like you got. So it's almost like they scared to move on. They scared to ascend and go to a bigger vessel. Or sometimes not even scared. They just blinded because they stuck here by the illusion and the lights here, the planets and how things work here, and they don't never want to leave. So they find lesser beings, lesser vessels that's used by lesser shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas. So they probably already had one of these vessels, but this vessel is only big enough to create one of these brains from the size of your shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas. And all the people who done traveled with your astral gases, with you to this realm. That's all of y'all as humans. You see what I'm saying? So the shapes of y'all's, like the big and small it is between y'all's, is a certain size. Now, these motherfucking lost spirits been here way before you. So these motherfuckers big. They could go ahead and take on a planet or something like that. But they stuck up in this rotation, right? So they can't really take one of these bodies again, and this body is the highest ascended one in this third dimension. So they stuck in the third dimension, but they spirits and shit, and they working through ideas and conscious and concepts and shit through people. And since they so big, they can't take one Pacific vessel anymore. Then they could take about 100 or 200 people. So they play out as oversouls and shit like that, and they create bodies. So organizations, so people who are revolutionaries, everybody who get like flat earthers and all these people, everybody who get on like one concept, like religious and people, everybody like who could agree on one concept from they don't necessarily know what Pacific person is from, but it might be from a person's idea that had an idea about some type of collective. 9 times out of 10, it's one of these fucking oversouls, these spirits. And they too big. They can't take one body no more like they want to. So they gonna take over 100 or 200 alcoholics. They gonna take over 100 or 500 religious people. They gonna take over 1,000 or 2,000 revolutionary people in any kind of way. And that's how they get the experience. You see what I'm saying? So it goes deep, man. It goes really deep. I could run this along for a long time. I'm gonna make a part 2, but I don't want this video to cut in half on me. So yeah, flight boss bitch, goddamn air.